Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, one of the things that I find is very common about moving to another country, and I don't think it's not confined to just the Philippines, it's moving anywhere, and that is downsizing. It's letting go of things that you've treasured all your life. Now, prior to coming out to the Philippines, I'd had, even through the ruins of several great losses of a house, a home, marriages and divorce and moving from one country to another, I'd already done that and moved to America. But I'd been in America for some 20 years and I had things which I really cared about. I was into, obviously I'm an artist, and I had some pieces which I really would never want to sell, and I haven't actually sold them. I still have them in storage, but they're a weight on my mind. Now, the other thing I liked antiques. I loved books. I'm an author, so I love books, and I enjoyed reading them again. The good books will always be read again. What was the greatest challenge when moving to this country? We're going to talk just about what it was like here. Well, it was about letting go, because I didn't know where I was going to end. Anybody that's been watching our videos knows where I ended. I ended in a hilltop farm with a lovely woman who I married almost getting on for 3 years ago. So that's where I ended up. How did I manage to do that? And the big challenge, even though I was dead broke and would have to sell everything, that's the money side of it, which is, it's not always about money. Now, I had to let go of so many things that I treasured, and I have people, friends, who I consider them so advanced in their thinking and their spirituality as to almost be ascended beings to me. I respect them so much, and yet I see the same phenomena even with them. The same challenge that can or can't be met. How did I meet it? Well, I set a date for coming. Now, here's a funny thing about setting dates for when you're going to bite the bullet and take the leap. Here's the strange thing. You set a date that, in your then state of thinking, is within your comfort zone, even though you know that you're going to have to take a massive leap of faith. You do it in a time frame that you feel okay about. Now, for me, I think I set it at, I'm not quite sure now, it was either 2 months or 3 months. I thought, well, there's a lot to do, so I'd better give myself either 2 or 3, let's say it was 2 months. So I'd better give myself 2 months. Now, I did get very brave. I booked my ticket for 2 months' time. So now I had a date. Now, to meet all the challenges. What was I going to do with everything? Bicycles that I'd built that I absolutely loved riding and that I would not be able to take with me. Tools, art materials, some of the furniture that I'd made, some of the pieces of art that I'd made, and really didn't want to sell, but needed to raise money. So, for 2 or 3 weeks, I did nothing. See where I'm going, can't you, with this? I set what I thought was going, a little brown out there, I think. I set what I thought was a reasonable time. I can get everything done in 2 months. Then I sat on my butt for 3 weeks and did nothing. Now, why do we do that? Because if it's going to take a real leap of faith, it's one of those that you have to have some real motivation to do. And after that 3 weeks, I took another week to try to organise things. I did a couple of yard sales. Now I'm getting a little bit desperate, and I'm beginning to think, my God, am I ever going to be able to do this? Am I going to lose my ticket fare? No, I can't do that. And as I tried to sell off things, that was another thing. I had to take less and less and less, until in the end, some things I thought, I'm not going to give this away to somebody I don't even know for dollars. And I gave it away to people that I liked, people that I loved, people that I thought needed them. I gave hundreds of dollars of art materials to a girl who was about 16 years old and lived in the house opposite me. How did I choose her? Well, one day, a little while back from that point there, she came over and said, "Oh, I saw you working on that robot and just wondered how you did it, because I love drawing." That was it. When it came to days to go, on her doorstep, with a knock on the door, was hundreds of dollars of art materials. And her mother saw me a little while later and said, "Thanks very much for that." She said, when my daughter saw it, she said, "Hey, this is good stuff." And I was happy for that. Now, for the rest of it, I had to sort through. Some things I wanted my son to have, and approached him, and he said, "I don't want it." Why? Well, because I'm going to be moving myself. And this, I actually knew this, because when I planned on having my adventure, I told him, and I said, "How do you feel about that?" And he said, "Well, go for it," because actually he didn't care either way, because he very rarely ever saw me anyway. So, I finally got down to sitting on the floor with all of the things that I couldn't bear to let go. And I let go. I ended up from a house full of stuff. I had a party. I sold off some of my biggest pieces of art on finance. I felt that I could trust the person, the family that I gave those 2 big pieces to, and I said, "Pay me $100 a month. No deposit, pay me $100 a month." They never ever let me down, and they paid up the debt even though I wasn't in the country. Thank you. So, the rest of it, I tried to sell it, I sold what I could, and the rest, if I didn't think of someone who I wanted my stuff to go to, my son didn't want my tools, I called up his friend and said, "Come over, I got a ton of tools for you." And he said, "Yes, please." And I was very happy to let him have them. And I got it down to 2 suitcases. And if you're coming here, you might have to do the same. Of course, I do have my friend Philip, who did it in a very nice way, because he had money. He'd sold up a property and he was coming over to join his lady, and he brought all of his tools and all kinds of stuff that he didn't want to let go. So now I feel differently about possessions. I don't really care too much about possessions, or didn't until very recently. and I was given a present for Christmas by a friend who paid me a great compliment, and he said, I only bought 2 of these extra. He said, I bought one for myself and I bought 2 extra for my 2 best friends, and this is yours. And he gave me this flashlight, and it's beautifully made to what I call aircraft standards. And I use it every day. Thank you, Philip. The other thing, surprisingly, and I've had other gifts. We had a computer given to us by a really good friend that refuses to be named. But there is one man who is I've never met him, and he lives in Manila, and he sent us, the family, so many boxes of stuff that he said in one of his things that I've sent you 2 knives. This is one of the knives. Look at it. It's a Swiss Army knife. Well, not army, but it's a Swiss knife. One of those little knives that does almost everything. And it actually was made in Switzerland. And it's beautifully made. And I've carried it with me ever since. Thank you, St. John, so much for this simple gift. Of all the things, this is with me all the time, and I thank you. Now, those are just 2 things, and I keep it pretty simple because I don't actually need many things. I can live very happily with what I have, and I'm grateful for everything that I have, and I think about that every day. So, am I amassing stuff? No, not really. I don't really care that much about things that I have. I'd like to hold on to my short-term memory, of course, but that's in the lap of the gods, isn't it? Okay, well, this is a foreigner in the Philippines, and I'm done here. I hope you'll like and subscribe. I hope what I've been talking about makes some sense to you, that you will have to let go. And actually, when you have let go and walked away, you may find that you have a spring in your step that you haven't had in many years. Good luck.